You're watching NBA Now by Chat Sports. I'm Harrison Graham. On today's show, we're going to take a look at the top 25 remaining NBA free agents. Now, if you're watching this beyond our live show later on and one or two of these guys has ended up signing, we apologize. Guys are signing left and right, but we're going to take a look as of late on Thursday who the top remaining free agents are. Now, hit that subscribe button before we break down these free agents. We're less than 200 subs away from 343,000. I would love to hit that milestone by the end of this week. So help us out. Subscribe to the channel if you want more NBA news and rumors coverage. All right, top 25 free agents here. Let's take a look at P.J. Washington, who's a restricted free agent, obviously. One of the biggest names still out there. Now, there's a report out there from Mark Stein that he wants $18 million per year. Now, the only team that can pay him that is Charlotte. If an external team signs him to an offer sheet or executes a sign and trade, the most they can give him is the Grant Williams deal with Dallas, 4 years and around $54 million, so 13 and change per year. So Charlotte might be sit there and saying, okay, you want $18 million per year. We're not going to give you that. We'll just let another team offer the max that you're able to get, and then we'll just match that offer. P.J. Washington could counter and say, okay, I'll just sign the $8.5 million qualifying offer and become unrestricted next year. We'll see how it plays out. Another Charlotte Hornet, it is Kelly Oubre, who remains unsigned. He is an unrestricted free agent. Oubre, a 20-point scorer last year. Not the most efficient guy, 43% from field, low mid-30s from three, but very athletic, still young. I think he could be in line for a contract in the range of the mid-level exception. Christian Wood remains unsigned, the big for the Mavericks, who statistically, out of all the remaining free agents, is maybe the best player on the market, average almost 17 and 8 with good shooting, 51% from the field, 38% from three, but did not seem to mesh well in the Mavericks culture. Don't know how coachable he is. Very curious to see what type of contract he gets. Another restricted free agent here, Ayo Dosunmu, entering his third season after playing his first two with the Chicago Bulls, second-round pick from a couple years ago. Didn't shoot the ball as well in year two, but he's a great defender, still a young piece. I think the Bulls should retain him, but they might let him sign an offer sheet elsewhere first before making that decision. Terrence Ross, who signed midway through the season got traded midway through the year last year to the Phoenix Suns. Listen, I'm kind of surprised the Suns haven't just brought him back on a vet minimum deal. Maybe he's hoping for a little bit more than that, but I could still see him returning to Phoenix to help fill out that roster. JaMychal Green, who's getting up there, but stretch four, can play some five as well, can shoot the three ball, play a couple of different positions defensively. He is still unsigned as well. T.J. Warren, who's it's not bubble Warren anymore. He's had some injuries, but still has the ability to score 20 points every now and again. I think a bench volume scorer role is still a role that he could play. Paul Reed is next up here as the Philadelphia 76ers added Mo Bamba on Wednesday night. And following that signing, Adrian Wojnarowski reported that the Sixers plan to re-sign Paul Reed. Now, Reed may gauge his market and see what other teams are interested in offering, but sounds like there's a good chance he ends up in Philadelphia. Dario Saric, who on day one of free agency was drawing major rumors around the Golden State Warriors. He remains unsigned. Golden State reportedly is still interested. The Miami Heat are also interested. It sounds like Saric is letting this play out to see the Dame dominoes fall. Like if Dame goes to Miami, he may opt to go there and play a bench role there because the Heat will need to fill out a couple of roster spots with vet minimum deals. So keep an eye on Dario Saric and how it relates to the Damian Lillard trade. Jaylen Nowell, who scored pretty well last year, shot the ball well from the field, but not a good three-point shooter, less than 30% a year ago. Can play a little 2-3 action there. Here's to see where he ends up. Hamidou Diallo, who is an athletic guard, kind of the same deal as Nowell. Doesn't shoot the ball well from the outside, but can score in transition, can get to the basket a bit. Decent combo guard off the bench. Anthony Lamb, who's restricted with Golden State, got some real run with the Warriors last year and played fairly well. Athletic, can handle the ball a little bit. Also, I'd be curious to see if the Warriors would match an offer sheet as he is restricted, but not a lot of chatter around him as of yet. Bol Bol, who got waived by the Magic the other day, still young, talented, had his best season of his career last year statistically. I think the question is he a piece that can translate to winning? I'm not so sure, which is why I'm going to ask you this question. Is Bobo good? Is he, and I don't mean 2K good. I mean, is he a piece that can be in a rotation for a good team? Type G for good, you think he is? Or type B for bad? I don't know if he's bad. I just don't know if he's good. So let me know how you guys feel about Bobo. Will Barton, who not that long ago was a really good piece for the Denver Nuggets, a guy who could start, come off the bench, can play the 2 or the 3 volume scorer type. Now, he's had some injury problems the last couple of years. I still think on a vet minimum deal, he has some value as someone who can score, but his best days are definitely behind him. Bismack Biyombo, who remember when he signed that massive deal with Toronto way back when, he ended up in Phoenix, played a backup center role for them. He remains unsigned. I could still see him returning to the Suns potentially on a 1-year deal, but if a team's looking for a decent backup center, he is someone that you could go sign. There's 15 guys plus 10 others here to get to 25 in total. Wenyen Gabriel remains unsigned. Got a decent amount of run early on with the Lakers last year. After the trade deadline, he was kind of out of the rotation after they added Rui Hachimura and others. Montrezl Harrell, not the player he was a few years ago with the Clippers when he was one of the best 6-man in the NBA playing next to Lou Williams, but still a good scorer around the basket, a guy who could help fill out your roster. Danny Green, we didn't know if he would even come back and play last year post-major injury, but actually got some run with the Cavs in the playoffs and played okay. I think on a vet minimum deal, his championship experience and occasional 3-and-D ability is still worth it. Kendrick Nunn, kind of the common thing with a lot of these guys. Good scorer, but hasn't played at peak Kendrick Nunn level in a few years now. He was really good with the Heat early on in his career, but has trended in the wrong direction ever since. Terrence Davis still out there, an athletic wing who can score a little bit. Not a great shooter, but some positional versatility there. John Wall, who signed with the Clippers last year and statistically played okay. He averaged 11 and 5, I think, but they moved on from him at the deadline. I'm not sure how much is left in the tank there with all the injuries he's had. Blake Griffin definitely doesn't have much in the tank, but I think he offers something to a locker room. 14th guy, 15th man on a 15-man roster. If he has to play occasionally in load management situations, one thing he has done well as he's gotten older is he can shoot the 3-ball pretty well. That athleticism's pretty much shot due to the injuries, but I think Blake can bring something to a locker room. George Hill played a decent amount last year, shoots the ball fairly well from 3. He's got some experience on championship-level teams. Svi Mykhailiuk, all he does is shoot 3s, but he does it well, 42% last year. Again, if you want a cheap shooter, he's an option. And then Stanley Johnson actually shot the ball well from 3 last year as well, if you want to get someone with some 3-and-D value. Who is the best free agent left on the board? Shout his name out in the comments section and let us know here at Chat Sports.